Good morning, guys. Welcome to this edition of Author to Author Chat. Here we are at Black Walnut Cafe in Sugarland, and this is Bring Your Own Book. Bring Your Own Book Club for Busybodies. And here I am, Micole Williams, with Maranda Evans. Now, we're going to be discussing her two books. Her first one, Troubled, and now Renewed Strength. And let's start off kind of with, I know you have so many amazing things that you're doing right now, so many different titles. And one thing I do know you for is being courageous.
Yes.
So with that being said, I know Troubled. Let's start there. Before we talk about how you're successful now, let's think about some of the things that you were going through in the past that you've been able to overcome.
Before Trouble, leading into I lost my father to domestic violence when I was 11, so I had to deal with growing up without a father and being what I like to call a fatherless daughter, which is extremely complicated. You don't have this fatherly affirmation, love, and so you start to look for it in other places you shouldn't look for it. So I kind of started to try to find it in men, and I started, dating pretty young and things like that. Also, I am a survivor of sexual abuse. I was molested for 2 years when I was 12, from 12 to 14, and I was raped at 16.
Wow.
So I had to deal with that. I'm still struggling with that. I still have PTSD with that. And also, I was depressed for 10 years. I'm still dealing with situational depression now, but I was depressed for 10 years before I knew what depression was.
Wow.
I did try to commit suicide a couple times. I was institutionalized when I was 17. So there's a lot. It's a lot. It's all in here in Trouble, but it's a lot of things that I had to deal with. It was just one after the other, starting with my father, and things just started piling up, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So it's tumbling.
And one thing I admire about you, maybe even two things, is how transparent you are. A lot of times, a lot of people go through a lot of different situations, and maybe even similar situations, but they don't have the courage to even state the facts. So that's one thing. But then also that sometimes people would never know any of that just by looking at you, because you're always so bubbly and energetic and positive. A lot of the stuff that you're doing is very much so that. So now it brings me to my next question. How did you overcome this? And then you're saying you're still dealing with some of those things, but you are successful and you are dealing with some of those things. How is that possible?
Well, the book helped. The book helps, and it actually helps me to encourage other people. That because I'm encouraging myself at the same time, and also I'm a really strong Christian, and I believe that God is capable of anything and everything. And literally, my faith is probably the one thing that keeps me going every day. And it's like my pastor told me, you don't go through the things that you go through for you. You go through them for other people. Or other reasons, or there's a purpose in whatever you're going through. So I think the main reason why I overcame and why I became so strong is because I know that I'm doing it for somebody else, and I'm gonna save so many people by being transparent, by being open, by being an encourager and a motivator, because that's what we all need. We need somebody to motivate us. So it started, my Christian faith grew stronger, and that's the majority of where it came from. God literally turned me around, and I started writing, I started expressing it, and I started speaking, and once I started doing that, then I was healing little by little as time passed. And I'm in therapy. I have to be in therapy. And therapy helps, because even with motivators and encouragers, we get tired too, and we need to be encouraged as well. So therapy helps me balance all the things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I'm proud for you, girl.
That's what, it's tough, but you can do it. You can do it. It's not impossible. And I want everybody to know that whatever they set their mind to, they can do. Whatever goals you have, you can do it. Nothing is impossible. You just have to have you have to see yourself doing it, which is like a part of what Renewed Strength is steps to becoming a survivor. And survivor is an acronym, so for each letter there's a different step, and then the R is reaching your ultimate goal. So essentially I bring you through all the things and all the steps that you need to go through to become a survivor and to reach your ultimate goal. And it's a survivor of anything, not just abuse.
Okay. And the first book was more so based on your life. The second one is a novel.
The second one, I don't like to call it a self-help book, because it's more like a motivational manual.
Okay.
Because self-help books are kind of boring. I don't even like self-help books. But it's more of I'm helping you help yourself. It's very interactive. But I put a little bit of my story into it.
Okay.
I put a little bit of my humor into it.
Okay.
So it's more entertaining than a self-help book. It's literally a motivational manual. Like when I'm down and tired and I need to rejuvenate, I pull out this book and I read it.
Cool.
So that's what it is.
Well, when did you start writing? Was it something that just happened in order to heal, or was it something that you did even beforehand? What was your journey with writing?
I've always written in journals.
Okay.
That's always been my thing. Even to this day, I got journals stacked up. Like I'm about to run out of a journal I just started. So I've been writing since maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
And that's how it was. It was like I didn't like talking to people. I didn't like talking about my problems. So I used to just write them down. Like I would literally every day write what my day was about. Or if my mom made me mad, I'd write about her. Like she's mean to me. Like whatever, anything that happened.
What children do, right?
Yes, like shame on her. I'm
they
writing
say
everything.
it or they write it.
Yeah, we can't say it to them, so we have to write it down.
No, or we won't be here probably.
Exactly. So that's how it started. And then when I graduated from Sam Houston undergrad in 2013, I basically typed a journal of my life. Like it was one big journal that I started writing, and then I started typing it, and it was like 100 pages long. It was like no breaks in between. It was really a long journal of my whole life. I'm gonna start at the beginning up until now. And when I finished, I was like, man, I like to read. Like I love to read. I can do something with this. So I started looking at other books, and I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. I can pull this off. Like I can really write a book. So I broke it down, made it a book, did all the research myself, and self-published, and it just skyrocketed.
Awesome testimony as well. So what's next? I know you have your MBA. I know you have your foundation. How can people also stay in touch with you?
What's next for me is to grow the Trouble movement and to keep empowering teens and young adults, men and women 13 to 25. Keep being a mentor, keep being a motivator. I do want to speak more. I want to do more speaking engagements and more one-on-one interaction with young girls and young boys. I am working on a 3rd book, but it will be a couple years. And this will go into the memoir aspects. We're going to now. I'm going to tell you the story of how I built the movement and how I made this life for myself. So that's what's next for me, and mainly focusing on my organization. And you can find me on Instagram at Elements of Me or the Trouble Movement. Matter of fact, follow both. Because I had to start making it personal. Like Elements of Me is I want to show you the different elements of Maranda Evans. Like the good, the bad, the sad, the happy, all of that. So I started my blog back up and things like that. So Elements of Me on all social media, or Maranda Evans on Facebook, and the Trouble Movement.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here, and we thank you for watching, and see you next time. We're going to go in so we can start our book club discussion. See you later.